favorites in the Big Ten Conference. But a potential stumbling block awaits tonight inside the State Farm Center, where Alex Whittinger leads the Fighting Illini as they hope to spring an upset. It's Maryland versus Illinois tonight on BTN. My name is Chris Fosters. It's great to be with you. Happy Monday. I'm joined by the coach, Vera Jones. And if Illinois wants a chance to win this one, it's going to go through their post player, Alex Whittinger.
To me, the most underrated player in this conference. Defensively, she alters the way teams play and execute. She's a huge shot blocker. But what I really like is, look at those moves. She is pretty much phenomenal, especially on the turnaround jumper. She's got a full arsenal inside the paint.
Look at those moves. Look at those numbers. A top 10 player in points, rebounds, and blocks. But Illinois is without one of its best freshmen, Ariel Scott, who turned her ankle in practice this week. She's one of their best three-point shooters as well. She is a no-go tonight. Maryland, the number 10 team in the country, is led by a loaded lineup of McDonald's All-Americans, college All-Americans, and we are ready to go from inside the State Farm Center. Illinois, by the way, has never beaten Maryland in program history, whether Maryland has been a member of the Big Ten Conference or not. It rained all day in Champaign today, and so the mop crew and towel has already made a debut at center court. Got to make sure everything's dry before the tip.
I'm going to take the rain over the polar vortex anytime.
You and me both.
At 50 degrees on the positive side of things is a good thing.
You and me both. A 100-degree swing in the Midwest this week, and we're on the higher end of it right now. Here we go. Shakira Austin wins the tip for Maryland, newly ranked number 10 in the country. They moved up a spot in the AP poll in the new rankings that came out this week. Taylor Mikesell, one of the best freshmen in the conference. And up until today, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week, dishes to her classmate Shakira Austin, who rattles one home.
Shakira Austin, raw, pure athlete, known for her defensive prowess. For her to get a quick opening shot from Maryland certainly is a good sign for a team that prides itself in its balanced attack.
Maryland with a little bit of pressure defensively to try and get this Illinois offense out of sync early. Entry pass to Allie Andrews, who beats Shakira Austin for an easy layup.
How about that for offensive execution? That's one thing that Nancy Faye has done with her team. Really stayed with them to stick with the program, buy in, and execute both offensively and defensively.
Pretty easy to buy into that jump shot by Kyla Charles.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier than that, except when she's out on the break scoring easy layups, which is coming.
Three-pointer skims off the rim for Courtney Jones, but there's an offensive rebound for Alex Whittinger.
In a sea of red shirts, and again, Whittinger, I really think, if this team was doing better, so would she. We'd be talking about her a whole lot more, but she gets overshadowed, unfortunately, because of the team's record.
We'd probably also be talking a lot more about Brandy Beasley, one of the top assist getters in the Big Ten.
Yes. Definitely a very aggressive point guard. And this is an Illinois team that is learning to compete. If they want to see what they're made of, this opportunity against Maryland tonight is that chance. If you can't get up for a Maryland team, what can you do?
Nancy Faye in her second season at Illinois. A fantastic coach for Division III Washington University in St. Louis. She won 5 national championships there. And by the way, happy birthday to Coach Faye's dad, who is watching this one from Belleville, Wisconsin, at the still young age of 95.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Happy birthday, Dad.
He still lives on the same farm on which he was raised.
A lot of where that hard work ethic that Nancy Faye picked up. Of course, she has been a hugely successful coach on the D3 level prior to taking the job a couple years ago here, or I should say last season here at Illinois.
Blair Watson, the trailer. Off the heel, and Whittinger saves it for Illinois.
Whittinger tracking down that rebound, and again, it's a team, they know, this Illinois team knows what they're up against. They've been in so many contests and have grown so much from where they were just a year ago.
Brandy Beasley has had the green light so far tonight. She's got 6 points.
Well, Illinois is looking like they're showing no fear right now against this Maryland team. Maryland has that way of lulling you into this false sense of security and then coming back in the second half. But right now, Illinois just hanging in and being competitive is key.
Stephanie Jones with a layup for Maryland, the sister of the former All-American Bree Jones here at Maryland. Brenda Freese in her 17th season at the helm of the Terrapins program. She passed Chris Weller's mark of 499 career wins in College Park earlier this year. Only 3 coaches ever in the program history of Maryland women's basketball as Whittinger knocks down her first jumper of the night.
Whittinger again showing where she can, she can pull up in that high post area. I like her there. Her face-up game is just as good as about any post player in the conference.
Face-up game, her turnaround jump shot game, all that working for Alex Whittinger, and that one works for Blair Watson, the junior from Nutley, New Jersey.
Blair Watson, quite the shooter on the perimeter. Struggled a little bit of late. Shooting from about 32% from behind the arc, but she certainly can put up big numbers. She had 48 points once in high school.
Just 48?
Yep, in a single game. That's it.
Bad pass by Jones goes right to Shakira Austin.
She didn't want to show off with 50.
Yeah, no reason for that. She sent the message at 48.
That's right.
2 more for Steph Jones. Megan Gustafson had 48 in the Big Ten tournament last year, right?
Oh, that was something to watch. And so Maryland continues to keep this press tight. And Illinois not struggling with it at all. In fact, finding Whittinger in the corner, she's really almost welcoming the press because she's been able to free herself up about 10 feet out, 12 feet out, and get that wide open shot off the back of the press.
Shakira Austin takes Whittinger to the cup and draws the foul.
So a little attention to be paid down in the paint, because one strategy would be to go right at, get the ball to Shakira Austin, go right at Whittinger. Whittinger is a shot blocker. And so being able to have an opportunity to get Austin to the free throw line is going to help.
Austin is just a 44% free throw shooter. She knocks that one down. Still having a fantastic freshman season. Austin is a 5-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Taylor Mikesell took home one of those honors just a little bit ago as well. And Mikesell might be the best three-point shooter in the conference already as only a freshman.
How cool is it to have 2 freshmen starting and contributing? I mean, impact freshmen. That if you're a freshman recruit, that's always something that you want, to be able to step in and to have that impact right away. And so Maryland has benefited over the years of just finding great freshmen who can do that.
Fresh faces in for both teams as Janiyah Ephraim possesses it for Illinois. She gets it back from Whittinger. Ephraim, just a freshman from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. CeCe Rice with the push-off. That's an offensive foul.
Offensive foul on the line, number 5, Sierra Rice, her first team second.
Sierra Rice is definitely one of those players that it would help them tremendously if she could just get in. She earlier had a 23-point game earlier in the season, including 5 threes.
And another illegal screen called, or an offensive foul that is, this time on Maryland. Kyla Charles set the illegal pick.
So Maryland will continue to show their 1-2-2 full court pressure.
Both teams have shot the ball pretty well early in the first quarter.
And they just look to slow things down a little bit. But the one thing about Illinois is that they've done a really good job, like I was saying earlier, buying in and setting up and executing their offense. Great penetration there on the pitch. Just couldn't get Andrews to sink it.
Maryland comes into this game winners of 4 straight. They've won their last 4 games by at least 12 points. Sarah Vujicic, a guard, got trapped in the lane, finds Frazier the big, who knocks down the 16-footer.
Frazier not afraid of anything. She's got that high post jumper down. She's ready to launch it when she gets in.
Senior from Brooklyn, you know, she's got some toughness about her.
Yeah, because she actually did fencing in high school. She might be the only player I've ever known that did fencing.
Good on the parry. Air ball from Brandy Beasley out of bounds. It belongs to Maryland. First time out, midway through the first quarter. Illinois is trying to spring an upset over number 10 Maryland, neck and neck in the first. Maryland is trying to pad its tournament and its Big Ten postseason tournament resume. Illinois is trying to get on track under second-year head coach Nancy Fay. Welcome courtside. It's great to be with you alongside the coach, Vera Jones. My name is Chris Fosters. You watched the Super Bowl last night, right?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
There's some pretty good defense in the Super Bowl last night, and Maryland has brought the full-court press against Illinois so far, but the Illini are breaking it.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good sign because Maryland can be very devastating and dominating with that full-court pressure. But here, they're just trying to slow things a little bit. But guess who is able to break it almost single-handedly? Alice Whittinger gets in, and you take a look here as we're back into action. It's Whittinger defending
Shakira Austin, who wants it right back in the post and gets fouled, and that's 2 on Whittinger.
Exactly, and like I said, that would be a great strategy for Maryland. I wouldn't put it past them. They want to go right at Whittinger because, truthfully, that is their big score. Between she and Brandy Beasley, they really haven't been able to identify anybody else that can just, you know, kind of single-handedly do what she does.
Frustrated look on Alex Whittinger's face as Shakira Austin is now 2 for 3 from the line tonight. Whittinger takes a seat, and that brings in the freshman, Mackenzie Blazik from Franklin, Indiana.
Pay attention to this moment in time at 3:48 and just a 3-point deficit, and we'll see how much that makes a difference in this game. Always look for momentum swings and turning points, and I think this could very well be one of them. Great board.
Ephraim has it. Sarah Schuin, the grad transfer, tried to save it on the sideline, but she traveled.
So Illinois with a big turnover on the very first possession. And again, Maryland will be relentless in this press. It looks soft at times, but when you least expect it, there's a trap that will stir things up and cause turnovers.
Entry pass to Austin on the freshman, banks it home.
This could be a big, big night for Shakira Austin. You can already tell that that's the name of the game is to go inside and find her down there. She's been effective.
7 points for Shakira Austin. You see Maryland already winning the paint battle over Illinois. Ball pinballs around. Rice hits the deck and covers it up. But Illinois called a timeout. 30-second timeout called by Nancy Fay. Not sure Brenda Freese agreed with the timeout call. Maybe she wanted to jump. But that's what you want to see if you're Maryland right now. You want to see some aggressiveness when you're on the road taking on a 1-9 conference team.
Right, and here's what you don't want to do. This is exactly what they want. They want that ball to get frozen right over there on that sideline because now you have an extra player. It's a trap. As soon as she dribbles out of it, that's when you have the double team. That trap comes in, and they just wreak havoc after that. And so Illinois obviously strategically has to do some things to get the ball back to the center of the court. They do not want to get over there on that sideline after they cross the half court. Plays right into Maryland's hand.
Maryland checking a couple of boxes so far in the first quarter. They've gotten Alex Whittinger into foul trouble. She's on the bench right now. Schuin gets tied up by Steph Jones, and that's a travel.
And so now Maryland trapping on the sidelines. They're trapping down on the block. And so just, I wouldn't say arbitrarily, but it feels that way at times because it seems like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And again, they lull you into that false sense of security sometimes because the press is soft, then they turn it on with the traps.
Right back to Austin, who throws up the wild shot. It stays with Maryland. Good defense that time inside by Illinois. Stephanie Jones with a beautiful cut and layup. She's got 6. More full court activity for Maryland's defense. Now it's Illinois who works inside.
Nice pass out of that, but probably not a bad idea.
Maybe one pass too many there?
Yeah, I thought one pass too many, but then I considered there were trees among her, so I probably would have done the same thing.
Shakira Austin was just whistled for an over-the-back foul on the rebound attempt.
Here's a look. Watch the dive to the basket. Just an easy dive and no help side. And so you see Jalen Kirkpatrick down, was supposed to be what I call the hawker on that one. And so she could have given some help on that dive. She got nothing.
Like two wide receivers running routes there.
Yeah. Just Xing to the basket. Kind of hard to cover.
5-0 run right now for Maryland. Illinois needs a bucket. Final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Beasley off the mark on the triple try, but it's poked back out to the senior Jalen Kirkpatrick.
Kirkpatrick totally missed an opportunity with Andrews in the corner.
And that's Andrews' shot, too.
Yeah, she was calling for it.
Andrews was posting up for a moment. Comes to set the high screen. The roll is not there. Kirkpatrick drives, flips up a tough shot. Doesn't even need the backboard.
Oh, we'll sit on that for the highlight reel. That was off balance. Pure Barnum Bailey circus stuff. I like it.
Well, you've got the popcorn, so you came to the right spot.
Lions and Tigers and Bears is all I'm missing. That's a beautiful shot. Shot it with confidence.
By the way, if you're looking to do your own Big Ten basketball road tour, Vera Jones says the popcorn here at State Farm Center is the best in the conference.
The salty best.
Kyla Charles with an infrequent three-point attempt there. It's saved by Frazier. Mike Sell from deep. Yes.
With a frequent three-point attempt. I would say Mike Sell would battle just about anybody in conference with how deep she can shoot it with such ease. Almost a set shot. She's got great body strength to get that off.
She shoots anywhere from 500 to 1,000 shots a day. And she counts the misses because it's easier than keeping track of all the makes. Blazek off the heel, and it's pulled down by Brianna Frazier.
And this is Maryland at its best. They like to get out in transition. Good job from Brandy Beasley.
Quick hands for Beasley, but take a look at just how deep Taylor Mikesell is here.
Is this in the United States, this shot? I mean, is this even national? She's deep. Deep, deep three. Just a freshman. Holy smokes, when you think about Maryland's depth, their youth, still so good.
And an outstanding recruiting class coming in, a top 5 class on the way for Brenda Fries, who seems to do that with regularity in Maryland.
Oh my goodness, Mike Sells just got the touch. That one just outside of the line, so that's definitely easy. Beasley trying to see if she can answer before time expires.
Blazek had the offensive rebound, but Maryland got it back, and Charles' half-court shot clanks off the backboard. Well, Illinois hung in there early, Vera, but some late three-pointers by Taylor Mikesell give Maryland a lead. Number 10, Maryland opens things up a little bit at the end of the first quarter, and let's go inside the huddle with Maryland head coach Brenda Fries.
Again, understand 35's back in the game. She has 2 fouls, so we want to attack her with spade, pass back, the thumbs, all right? Whoever's guarding her, she's guarding on thumbs, try to get the dive person into the low block.
So definitely have to pay attention. When 35 is in the game, Whittinger, like I said, it can become a very big score at any time and is their biggest opportunity to win. She needs a good game.
Whittinger is in the game now for Illinois, playing with 2 fouls, but Maryland picks up right where it left off to end the first quarter. Illinois ended the first quarter shooting just 1 for 9. And Vera, I think you can point to the moment when Whittinger left the game is when the water turned off.
Yeah.
And that's a travel.
Yep. And we kind of expected that because that is one of the Achilles heel for Illinois. Although they have capable shooters, they don't have anybody that they can just go to that would just dominate outside of Beasley to bring point production.
And the scoring depth is also a cause for concern for Illinois right now. Charles underneath, shot altered by Andrews, but that's a foul.
On the line, number 15, Andrews, her first, team's first. Brandon Charles at the line. shooting 2.
Tonight, The Big Show recaps everything going on in the conference with highlights, interviews, and analysis. The Big Show presented by CDW tonight at 10:30. That is a made free throw for Kyla Charles, an 81% free throw shooter. She goes 2 for 2 in that sequence. We had a good conversation with her at shoot-around today.
Yeah, what a fun and lighthearted. You listen to her speak and you're wondering, is this the same fierce competitor that we see getting out in the lanes and just killing it for Maryland?
She clearly has a game switch that she flips.
Yeah.
Big part of her pregame ritual is reading some motivational texts that her dad sends her. Dad wants her to read the text a couple of times just to make sure the message gets through. Typical parent.
Yeah. Dad was quite the soccer player. Mom was an Olympian in the 1984 was it basketball team? Track team.
I tell you what, Taylor Mikesell could be in the process of putting together an Olympic resume with an ability to shoot the ball like that.
Yeah, she pretty much can shoot it from any of the countries we'd be competing against.
Next summer Olympics are in Tokyo, by the way. She might even have that kind of range.
Yeah, she does.
Cross Pacific.
Checking in from Maryland, number 32, Sarah Williams.
Kyla Charles has been hot scoring the basketball lately in particular. She comes in off back-to-back 20-plus point performances. First team all Big Ten player coming into this year.
But you see that 63%. One of the reasons she's been so efficient is because she gets out in transition. We really haven't seen her in action so much tonight, but the way that she gets out in transition really sets the tone for the Maryland offense.
You mentioned that her mom was an Olympic track athlete, and you can definitely see...
Oh, my goodness, she passed it on.
Yeah, the speed that really makes Kyla Charles such a dynamic player.
Alex Whittinger at the line for Illinois.
Foul, by the way, was on Maryland senior Brianna Frazier. It puts Whittinger at the foul line, where she's an 83% free throw shooter.
Whittinger has just, I've watched her. I liked her as a freshman. She has just grown and improved every single year. She's a preseason all Big Ten player. And again, outside of that selection, you just don't hear about her so much. But every time I watch her play, I'm just impressed with how much she has grown and improved.
Charles underneath. Austin cleans it up. It falls off the front of the rim, but that's a foul on Allie Andrews, the junior's second.
Allie Andrews, first second, team second.
Here's a look from Watson, who finds that easy, and that's Andrews. Had her hand up, but definitely on an angle. It wasn't straight up. It was kind of into the face of Austin.
I tell you what, that would have been on our short list for State Farm assist of the game had that bucket gone in. That was a bullet from Blair Watson.
She's good like that.
Shakira Austin has been pretty good at the free throw line tonight. She's now 5 for 6. Boy, if she starts finding some rhythm at the free throw line, that's going to make her even more dangerous.
Nice. That's a great feed to the basket. Love the weak side dive.
CC Rice.
Yeah, Sierra Rice definitely gets it done.
Her first bucket of the night. Rice is a player who's battled injury during her career at Illinois, but is finally healthy through a substantial portion anyway of Big Ten play. Great to see. Mikesell flips it up. Charles had it. Whittinger may have knocked it out of there, and it stays with Maryland. Here's that back cut once again.
Yeah, Illinois does an outstanding job. You'll see here, kind of a give, and then she kind of floats backside. Comes behind Mikesell, caught her with her looking. And that's one of those things we often talk about, jumping to the pass so you can see that cut. Didn't happen.
Tenacious defense there by Whittinger to knock out that entry feed. Illinois needs some offense and some consistent offense. Without a field goal so far in the second quarter, and it stays that way after Whittinger's missed baseline jumper.
And you can see a lot more pressure on Mikesell. You've got to stretch a little bit to that three-point line, but now she's wide open, or Watson's wide open.
On the recycle, Watson takes it that time.
Yeah, you've got to play. I mean, that's what makes Maryland so difficult to defend. You've got to play deep into the paint. You've got to get outside, too. But how about that? Illinois.
Sarah Schuin. And we're flying up the floor now. 2 more for Blair Watson. That triple by Schuin was the first made field goal of the quarter for Illinois. Pass to no one in particular. Maryland gobbles that up. And another dangerous pass this time for Maryland is deflected to Sarah Vujicic, who gets it back to Blair Watson. And the rebound eventually held by Illinois. Illinois won its first conference game of the Nancy Fay era in an upset win over Minnesota just 3 games into conference play. And they've lost 7 since then. They've been more competitive in conference play, especially if you look at the scores from last year. But they are just trying to figure out how to translate that into wins. Awfully tough when you're taking on a loaded Maryland team.
Maryland with the offensive rebound. This is what will kill you if you allow them the second chance, or as you call it, the recycle. They are very, very good at taking advantage of the recycling.
Blair Watson is having an outstanding second quarter already with 8 points and 11 on the night. And CeCe Rice is trying to give Illinois something offensively and at least gets to the line. Blair Watson looking pretty good, returning from an ACL injury last season. He's got Maryland up big. Basketball on BTN is presented by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Perfect place to be. We're at the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois, alongside Vera Jones. I'm Chris Fosters, and Taylor Mikesell has been red hot from deep.
Look exactly how deep, though. I mean, she really can light it up anywhere. By the time she steps close to the line, that's like a layup for her. She's got unbelievable range, shoots it with confidence, and shoots it quickly.
Mikesell won a national three-point shooting competition as a high school senior at Jackson High in Massillon, Ohio. Meanwhile, at the free throw line, CeCe Rice picks up her first from the stripe. She's got 3 points tonight. And now 4 as Illinois tries to hang around midway through the second quarter. Tough to do that, Vera, when an already potent Maryland team is shooting 6 of 11 from deep.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go back over and over again and you can say, oh, we have to defend better out on the perimeter, but we just showed Mike's, I mean, how deep do you need to go? You know, Mikesell can shoot it, you know, a good 4 or 5 feet, 6 feet from behind the arc.
Well, the second chance opportunities for Maryland are likely driving Nancy Fay crazy. That's the 3rd foul on Allie Andrews.
Yes.
Because you talk about the perimeter defense, Vera, and it's not like Maryland is getting open looks in transition so much as they're winning rebounds over Illinois, and that's what's leaving people open outside.
Different from what we saw at the Indiana game, where Maryland really, I kept making the comment, this is the Maryland I remember. This is the remember that has, you know, the Maryland has returned. A little different there. They're not getting all those transition looks as you said. But they are definitely keeping hope alive. They come back with the offensive boards. They're winning the battle of the boards easily.
Brianna Frazier. Tough look.
Somebody else that can run the floor and get it done.
I say this with all due respect, but Brianna Frazier sometimes becomes the forgotten woman on this Maryland team. And then you see her do something like that, and it's like, wow. Having a great senior season. Brianna Frazier, 8 points, 5 boards per game.
And she truly, I mean, as a senior, she represents the culture that has been established since Maryland has come into the Big Ten Conference.
That's a great point. And her classmate for Illinois, Alex Whittinger, represents in a lot of ways the culture that Nancy Fay is trying to establish here in Champaign.
A lot of work ethic for both of those players.
Just a little too far out in front of Frazier, the 6'3" senior, but look at her run the floor here.
And that is now, when you look at this kind of Maryland, you see all those shirts getting out in front, able to finish with contact. Surprisingly, no call on that, but Frazier makes it look easy.
She sure does. And a quietly consistent career so far in her final season at Maryland, over 500 rebounds. Whittinger looks for Blazek. It's not there. Miscommunication in the backcourt for Illinois.
They're trying to continue to run this weave. And I was going to say the best option off of this is Brandy Beasley. For a couple of reasons, she's really good at turning the corner off of the top of the weave and getting to the hole. And if she doesn't take that option, then she just stops and pops.
Got a long rebound there. Finds Lyric Robbins. And the rebound is saved by the freshman Janiyah Ephraim. Another chance for Illinois.
Lyric Robbins shot her first three-pointer against Michigan State. She was 1 of 2 on the season.
And 0 for 1 so far tonight.
Yeah, comes into the game and goes right after it.
Watson's had the hot hand for Maryland in the second quarter. Throws it high, but Vujicic is there. The JUCO transfer. Shakira Austin puts the ball on the deck.
Good defense on the switch. And that again was an opportunity for Alex Whittinger to show off her defensive prowess.
And a steal with 2 on the shot clock. There's Lyric Robbins with the layup. Lyric Robbins is averaging less than a point per game, but off a great feed from Brandy Beasley, she's got 2, and Illinois is starting to show some signs of life in the second quarter.
Again, that's just good defense. Ephraim does a good job getting her hand out on the basketball, and then now Illinois turning it around with the run.
Well, here's why this game matters. We take a look at the Big Ten Conference standings, and Maryland with an opportunity to pull into a tie with Rutgers for first place in the Big Ten. Yes, Rutgers has already beaten Maryland this year, but there is a rematch coming up later this season. Illinois down at the bottom of the pack right now, but if you talk to Nancy Fay, don't just look at the box score and the final stats when it comes to trying to track Illinois' improvement this year.
Oh,
they're better than they were last year.
Oh, absolutely. And again, with a new coach, new system, new players, you know, they've got some youth on this team. It's all about establishing the culture. So you have to chalk up those little wins and then recognize, hey, if I can just get them where, you know, we need to be structurally this year, next year, that culture is in place. Some wins will follow.
Stephanie Jones looking like her sister with the catch and release down low like that. Sarah Schuin with the answer.
Holy smoke. Like a set shot from the 3, but got to get back in transition.
Rebound loose and corralled by Blazek of Illinois.
So this will make a nice little run if Illinois can turn around again, knock down a big 3.
Robbins slings it into the corner and draws the foul. That goes against Shanice Lewis, the sophomore. It feels, again, we've said that Illinois is ending the first half reasonably well, and then you look at the scoreboard and it's still a 17-point game.
Well, that's one of the problems with playing, you know, a top 10 team in the country. They bury you quickly, and even when you do try to bounce back, it feels like a constant uphill climb. There's another big shot. Schuin is getting it done.
9 points for the grad senior from Quinnipiac, averaging 5 points this game in her only season in blue and orange.
Entering this contest, she shot 18% from behind the arc. Already improved upon that significantly.
Rice did a tap dance, and Beasley was able to keep it in Illini hands.
Quick hands of Beasley, quick feet to follow, but could not get the finish.
But what a rebound by Robbins to save it for Illinois. 3 seconds left before halftime. Here's Beasley. Got it.
Looking alive.
Say what you want about Illinois, they're fighting hard.
Oh, that is part of the fight that their coach knows is there. Brandy Beasley leading the pack.
The triple one more time. Great save by Lyric Robbins off the Brandy Beasley miss. Beasley would eventually get it back and drill it.
Very nice backspin. She held up the goose. It's good.
A goose move patented by Vera Jones. That was your follow-through back in the day at Cuse, right?
I swear by it. Just got to hold it up there. It'll get in.
Suddenly, Illinois has made this a much more interesting game. It's an 11-point lead for Maryland as we hit the break in Champaign. We are ready to start the second half from inside the State Farm Center in Champaign. Maryland up double figures, but Illinois got hot and closed the second quarter on a 9-0 run to make this much closer as we take a look at the first half stats. Hello again. It's great to be with you alongside the coach, Vera Jones. My name is Chris Fosters. I know we got to keep this brief because you've got some chocolate cake calling your name, but what did you like about Illinois' run to close out the second quarter there?
Well, no pun intended, but I thought it was sweet. I thought that they were nailing a lot of three-point shots. They took advantage of every opportunity that was given to them. Maryland did an outstanding job Illinois did an outstanding job of taking advantage of everything Maryland threw at them. So, yeah, I have to agree with Shelly Till that defensively they're probably getting a nice earful in the locker room.
And it was interesting, too, because on this scoring run for Illinois, everybody got involved, not just Alex Whittinger.
Well, they pushed tempo, but look how well they moved the basketball. Schuin knocked down 3 of 3. And while we were sitting and talking about how good Maryland was from behind the arc between Schuin and Brandy Beasley, they were slowly but surely sneaking up from behind, knocking down big shots.
Ready to start the second half now. Right in front of us, Sierra Rice gets it in. More pressure for Maryland as they showed all first half. Illinois hangs on.
And so that had to be a nice little confidence booster for this Illinois team. So much depends on what you do with those first 4 minutes. You come out of the locker room, that's a good sign. Getting Alex Whittinger involved.
It sure is. Maybe a quieter first half by Whittinger's standards. 7 points now, 9. Blair Watson was hot in the first half. That was short.
As good as Maryland can be for 3, it behooves them to get back to what they do really well, which is really pushing in transition, looking on the inside, and then popping it back out. There's that transition run. That's what they're looking for.
That was just like they drew it up in practice. Kyla Charles finishes it off with a layup.
Absolutely. Big steal.
And Shakira Austin has been very active defensively already in the third quarter.
Well, defense is what does it. Defense and rebounds, and that's the assist of the game.
Brought to you by State Farm. And we are in State Farm's namesake arena here in Champaign. Thank you for the help on that, Vera. That
You're
was
welcome.
like an assist of broadcast standards.
That's how we roll. That's how we roll, Chris. All about the helpers.
Do you want to take a 60-second timeout to pay some attention to that cake there?
You don't know how bad.
I can cover you if you want.
Still sweet, right on cue. Schuin knocks down her 4th three-pointer. Holy smokes.
Yeah, she's having a career night.
Definitely.
4 long-range shots for the graduate senior from Ontario. Watson inside this time. Austin with the spin, using her length and the glass as well.
Shakira Austin, one of the things that her coach, Brenda Fries, would love to see is for her to, wait, we got a shoe loss. Blair Watson doing a little
a 5-on-4 right now.
apparel change, yep.
Schuin, short that time. Austin the rebound, and Maryland dodges a bullet.
But one of the things that Shakira Austin they'd like to see is they want to see her a lot more aggressive offensively as Jones gives it a try.
and goes to the line. It's been interesting talking to Brenda Frese throughout the season about Shakira Austin's development. Her defense really has always been ahead of the offensive parts of her game. Offense has been a little inconsistent.
Well, that's what preceded her, even coming out of high school. You know, she's a great shot blocker. She's long. She's athletic. She's raw athlete. But working on her shooting touch has been something that has been developing, and I'm sure under this staff will continue to develop. She is going to be one heck of a player by the time she graduates.
Just a freshman out of Riverdale Baptist, close to Washington, D.C.
My old stomping grounds. Great basketball in Riverdale Baptist over the years.
Bad pass from Sierra Rice, and Illinois coughs it up. That entire conference in the D.C. metropolitan area has produced so much talent, men's and women's, over the years. Blair Watson with the blow-by, left it short. Whittinger snaps down the rebound. And a hard ankle turn that time for the freshman Janiyah Ephraim.
Yeah, Ephraim looked like she got up wincing in pain a little bit. Just good defensive positioning from Maryland. Austin just kind of standing in the way, not allowing too much room after the catch.
Nothing but a head shake that time for Nancy Faye. Jones couldn't save it. It's Illinois ball. Wednesday, our football experts return with another signing day special. Class breakdowns and interviews with some of the top recruits. Big Ten football and beyond signing day special presented by ZipRecruiter Wednesday at 3.
So Whittinger with the layup. And they're just looking to get another big bucket, a good defensive stop and a big bucket. Illinois is back under 10.
Whittinger knows she's giving up some length to Shakira Austin, so she jumped that pass. Illinois couldn't turn it into offense on the other end.
Whittinger was screaming for the basketball. She had the seal down low. She didn't get it.
And a jump ball is called.
And so this could be, like I said, a little confidence boost. Out in transition, Whittinger high off the glass. Good read from her. She came right back down, and she was looking for the basketball again. They did not deliver. And that might silence things a little bit. Mike Sell back in action, shooting threes.
And Mike Sell averaged 13.5 points per game in Maryland's 2 wins last week. There she is again off the feed from Kyla Charles, in and out. Rebound Whittinger. Charles pokes it away, but it's saved by Illinois. Mike Sell now with 12 points tonight, by the way. Still 2.5 shy of her season average. Beasley with the pull-up, the foul. She goes to the line.
I think of Mike Sell. I think what a nickname Mike Sell, Killjoy. Because as soon as you think that you're going to get away with the basketball, she comes in off of a blob, a baseline out of bounds, and then just kills your spirit. Just a Killjoy.
She's like the smiley face with the X's through the eyes. Just total Killjoy.
Yeah, it's the timing. It's not just that she shoots the basketball so very well. It's the timing of when she's knocking down those threes, usually after a really, really good run from the opposite team.
You always pay attention to the follow-through, and her follow-through is amazing. When you look at her wrist in particular, it is so loose.
Yeah, she's got great form. And we're talking about freshmen developing for Maryland. I mean, think about what that class is going to look like, what they're going to look like with Mike Sell and Austin leading the way in a few years.
There is one senior on Maryland's roster right now, and that is Brianna Frazier. They will certainly miss her, but with the growth of this current freshman class, coupled with an outstanding freshman recruiting class coming in next season, look out. Frazier got it back, and the baby hook goes.
Even after bobbling the pass a little bit, she was bothered in there defensively by, I think that was Kirkpatrick in there, but she still was able to gather the basketball and make it look easy.
Illinois in a bit of trouble. Kirkpatrick gets it across. Seen that a couple of times with Illinois' backcourt. There's almost been some confusion on who to start the offensive set. Mike Sell whistled for the foul, her second.
Look at Frazier here. Even after bobbling the basketball, she gathers. She does not put the ball on the floor, waste a dribble. She just pivots and up. Good rise. It's got to be pretty comforting as a coach to know you've got a McDonald's All-American coming off the bench.
And 4 total on the Maryland roster right now, if you can believe that. Sierra Rice goes to the line. Foul on Sarah Vujicic.
From Maryland, number 32, Sarah Vujicic, her first, team's third. Sierra Rice is the line for Illinois, shooting 2.
Rice with 4 points in the first half. Native of Grosse Pointe, Michigan, not far from Detroit.
So Illinois, I mean, if you want to go back and kind of summarize this game, when you think about their margin of deficit at the moment, really that all took place when Whittinger came out of the basketball game. Had that not happened, had she not gotten those 2 fouls earlier, who knows where this game might have been.
That's great recall, and you're absolutely right. Whittinger has been playing with 2 fouls since the first quarter. Kyla Charles matched up on her now.
Good block. That was Charles getting a hand on the shot from Whittinger.
And untimed horn there. That should not have happened. The shot clock might not have reset.
Okay.
And so when the shot clock did expire, Maryland already had the ball across half court.
It's a good chance to eat some chocolate cake. So you get the block there. So shot clock still on 30.
Our officials tonight, Dee Cantor, Maj Forsberg, and Angelica Suffren. 2/3 of that pair. Now all 3 step over to the monitor to take a look. While we wait, we remind you that Thursday we have a women's hoops doubleheader. Nebraska and Michigan open things up at 7. And then top 25 opponents, Michigan State and Iowa, square off in the nightcap. Thursday right here on BTN. And don't forget about the studio shows in between. Vera Jones will be there breaking down 2 great games coming up on Thursday. The Big Ten just announced its Players of the Week. Megan Gustafson, what else is new?
Yeah.
Takes home her 10th Player of the Week award this season. And then 2 promising freshmen split the award. Naz Hillman for Michigan and Sam Haiby, the guard for Nebraska.
Hillman really starting to establish her presence, and good job, Haiby.
Maryland by 12. 12-point cushion for Maryland, but Illinois is making the Terps work. And let's once again check in with head coach Brenda Frese, who's mic'd up tonight.
Make her have to work, all right? But again, we gave up a box out on the free throw line. That should never happen when we have inside position, all right? So can't lose possessions, all right? Can't lose possessions.
So what do you think, Vera? Alex Whittinger, 11 points, 5 rebounds, a block, 2 steals. Has Maryland made her work tonight?
Well, in reality, apparently not. If Brenda Frese says make her work, they need to make her work. But in my opinion, she's one of those players that's always working.
Yes.
That's my whole point. I just think her work ethic is just phenomenal. Alex Whittinger she's nonstop. You can see it in her face, the tenacity. Great communication to her teammates out there, and they kind of follow her work ethic.
Among the program's best in points, rebounds, and blocked shots. A fantastic 4-year career in Champaign. Has to put that one up with 2 seconds on the shot clock, and the rebound comes down to Maryland.
Sierra Rice that kind of left her in a tough spot.
Mike Sell was so wide open there, you almost thought for sure it was going in. Shanice Lewis. Mike Sell, 2-pointer if it goes.
right. Well, she decided to not use the ball screen, kind of created on her own. I thought that was going in.
Sarah Vujicic has been giving Maryland quality minutes off the bench this year. Three-pointer in and out.
And again, Maryland now, a couple of possessions have come down launching threes. So they may change things up and go back inside.
Maryland is 8-0 all-time against Illinois. They have not beaten or lost to the Fighting Illini, I should say, ever. Rice with the crossover. Austin got her paws in there, and Lewis brings it in for Maryland. Numbers advantage for the Terps. Mike Sell around Schuin, flips it up, in and out.
And almost another offensive rebounding opportunity for Maryland. The box out has to come from this Illinois team.
Maryland is one of the better rebounding teams in the Big Ten. In fact, in terms of rebounds per game, they are the best, 44 rebounds per game. Illegal screen called that negates the Mike Sell attempt. That's Brianna Frazier's second foul, fourth team foul.
So you see here as she slides into the runner. So Janiah Ephraim took that one on the shoulder.
You mentioned the rebounding for Maryland. They're plus 12 on Illinois tonight, Vera. On the season, there's a 10-second violation on Illinois. Maryland is out-rebounding teams by an average of 11 boards per night.
Well, that is just one of their many strengths. And Maryland easily sizing up. I mean, they're a top 10 school in the nation, or team in the nation. And so everybody's kind of got their eyes on them. But they do a lot of things so very well. It's going to make them very, very a difficult draw for anybody. The rebounding, the transition, the three-point shooting.
Alex Whittinger just picked up her third foul, by the way. Stephanie Jones, good move, spin cycle. Charles nearly saved it for Maryland. Here comes Brandy Beasley for Illinois.
Now, can Illinois get something out of transition? They'll slow it down, but that's a good feed. Little triangle set, nice inside to Whittinger.
Pretty good footwork there. Watson. Jones tips it to herself. She's blocked from behind by Ephraim. A clean block, says Dee Cantor, one of our officials tonight.
So this is good. It's a push. You go to the wing, but all alone in isolation, Alex Whittinger can do that. Her turnaround jumper and the fact that she has a nice little fade to her arsenal make her difficult to defend.
Mike Sell.
Did the gas run out on the Mike Sell threes?
Well, she's taking twos.
Was that a two?
Yeah.
My eyes are crossing because her eye, she shoots them so deep, I just make the assumption they're all threes.
I think you're on a sugar rush right now from that chocolate cake.
That was really good chocolate cake for an arena.
Might have to run that one back.
You're just lucky I'm still sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Tap dancing on the table.
Ephraim with a tough shot and a hand in her face. It did not matter.
Mike Sell goes flying down over the eye.
Final minute of the third. There's Mike Sell.
Too much
wide
room.
open
Too
on the
much
wing
time.
again.
But Illinois, like I said, Mike Sell might have gone a little bit cold because she certainly had the hot hand earlier. So that could work in their favor.
Illinois trailed by 11 at halftime. They're down by 9 now. Another bucket would be huge here in the waning moments of the third.
Absolutely. This is a huge possession, late game, and they throw it away. That's got to hurt.
A freshman mistake for Janiah Ephraim.
Oh, that's got to hurt. That's like not getting asked to the prom right there. That just hurts your feelings when you work so hard. Beautiful shot from Ephraim, who faces up here. Set up an opportunity for Illinois to get back in this contest. And unfortunately, they threw it away that last possession.
Well, that's a freshman in a nutshell, right? You go from flashing your potential to being the GOAT.
Like oops.
Yeah, in a matter of seconds.
Maryland, she's going to turn that corner. Good pitch. Watson's been hot.
Maryland's been cold in the third quarter, however. With 5.7 left in the third, it belongs to Illinois. Plenty of time to get down the floor and put one up.
She's just saying, take it and go. She's telling everybody, clear out. Let Brandy Beasley go.
Beasley
Good
passes
look.
instead. And it goes for Mackenzie Blazek. And there's a foul as well on Steph Jones.
Want to talk about a turnaround. Now, that's the big momentum bucket that you've been looking for, Illinois. Look at this. The whole time, she's just, I'm just sneaking away. Jones doesn't see it, not paying attention. And guess who's probably going to be coming out of the basketball game? Steph Jones. Steph Jones. She's totally missed her assignment on that one, so she'll have to sit down and think about it for a little bit. But how about Illinois executing? And I saw Nancy Faye waving to get down court to Blazek. And sure enough, the baseball pass came from Beasley.
It's a 7-point game at the end of the third quarter. Illinois won't back down against the Terps. Illinois is showing some gumption here against number 10 Maryland. They have outscored the Terps in each of the last 2 quarters. And Brenda Frese, addressing her team in the huddle right now, is telling the Terps they need to remember to play defense. Here's how the third quarter ended.
Well, yeah, they started jacking up the three-pointers. But this was a beautiful look from Illinois, just down the floor. Blazek just kind of snuck down. We didn't quite see that angle, but when no one was looking, she just kind of snuck down the floor. And that was an easy long pass.
I'll have to check. Does Illinois need a quarterback this year? That was a fantastic
Beasley's
pass.
got an arm.
She sure does.
She'd make a great little quarterback.
Two freshmen on the floor right now for Illinois.
How much of a confidence boost has this been for Illinois to come this close to Maryland late game?
5 to shoot. Ephraim dribbles it out of bounds, but it stays with Illinois. Just 3 seconds on the shot clock.
So decision-making is always one of those things that young players have to get used to.
Shot blocked and pulled away by Maryland. A good defensive stand to begin the fourth quarter for the Terps.
Big shot block.
Kyla Charles curls inside with the dump off to Frazier. That was pretty.
Great job, and you can see, stop jacking up threes, get inside, start running some action, curl into the basket.
Frazier's got 10. Whittinger with a wild shot. She tried to save it, could not. It's Maryland ball.
Probably not her best look, but still, I applaud her attacking the basket, something Illinois is going to have to do. They don't want to get comfortable and start settling for the outside shots just because Maryland's defense has tightened up. They have to continue to execute, make good decisions, and attack the basket.
That's where Maryland has had success against Illinois tonight. They are outscoring the Illini 28-16 in the paint. There's Frazier, who goes to work on Whittinger and goes to the free throw line.
And a great opportunity. Remember, this is what we saw in the first half. They went right at Whittinger, got her out of the basketball game because she was in foul trouble. Now she picks up her fourth here.
You got to take her out, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to sit her for a little bit.
13 points for Whittinger and 4 fouls. That look says it all.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Xavier Simpson takes the 5th-ranked Wolverines to the rack to take on the Scarlet Knights. Big Ten basketball presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans tomorrow at 8. So Whittinger does, in fact, take a seat, and Sarah Schuin comes back in. That's actually not a bad thing for Illinois. She's got 4 made 3-pointers tonight, which is a career high.
Hey, she's got the hot hand. You got to give it to her.
Let her eat. More full-court pressure for Maryland, nearly a backcourt violation.
Almost a turnover. There she is.
Quick release and a quick bucket.
Big bucket. Falling out of bounds in the corner. You have my due respect.
15 points for Schuin. That's just 2 off her career high. Into Frazier. And Frazier goes to the line. Maryland saw that mismatch from a mile away. Brandy Beasley at 5'7" was in front of the 6'3" Brianna Frazier.
Well, I tell you what, Illinois' record certainly isn't indicative of how much grit that they show. They've been in so many contests this year. Obviously got the 1 win by beating Minnesota.
Kyla Charles rattles one down. But to your point, Vera, that really shows the strength of the conference in a lot of ways. This Illinois team in last place, they've lost 7 in a row, but they're putting up quite a fight against Maryland right now.
And when you think about that, just think about, you know, if you're an outsider looking in, you might look at this and say, oh, wow, Maryland, holy smokes, I have to stop my thoughts.
That was a ferocious block.
Yeah, I'm totally distracted by that block. Just totally distracted. Shakira Austin gets at least one of those big blocks in a game. Just comes from across the court and help side and just punches it out. Fierce blocker.
And 5 seconds is the call. Maryland basketball. Illinois isn't going anywhere, but Maryland is the number 10 team for a reason. 7:52 left. Here's the top 5 in the Big Ten Conference as things stand right now with about a month left in the regular season. Maryland with a win tonight could move into a tie with Rutgers for top conference record. Iowa is not going anywhere. Northwestern has been a pleasant surprise. They're getting healthier now.
Sure.
And Michigan State is starting to round into form.
Yeah, I mean, it is congested at the top. And when you think, you should circle your calendar for February 10th that Rutgers will take on Maryland. That head-to-head matchup, if things continue to progress and they get wins on Thursday, and Maryland secures one tonight, that is going to be one contest to watch.
Inside to Shakira Austin. Good defense by Mackenzie Blazik, but just a better move inside by the freshman. Illinois looks for an answer. Schuin with 5 triples tonight. As Austin away from the basket defensively for Maryland. Then on a cut. She's fouled by Frazier.
Maryland number 34, Brianna Frazier, third. Team first.
Say, watch as Shakira Austin makes that slight swim move over the top, able to secure the basket. And again, that's how they started. Maryland started going inside early, found Shakira Austin early. They established themselves in the paint, and that's what began to open up so many opportunities out on the perimeter that they took advantage of. Mike Sell, Watson just knocking it down.
1 for 2 at the line for Sarah Schuin. I thought you brought up a good point, Vera, when you said that just because Illinois is challenging Maryland right now, this is not an indication that Maryland is playing a bad game.
Right, exactly. And it speaks volumes to just how good this league is. When you think about Illinois, yes, the bottom of the conference, but they challenge. Late game, they're still in it. They're challenging a team like Maryland. The different perspective would be, no, it's not that Maryland's playing poorly. It's that Illinois is just that strong, and that's how strong this top conference is, top to bottom.
Kyla Charles with a tough take.
She can be sneaky. She starts racking up points quickly when you least expect it.
10 points for Kyla Charles tonight. And here's her most recent one. Tough work inside for the junior. Maryland by 14. Maryland is being tested on the road against a scrappy Illinois team. 6:31 to play, 14-point lead for Brenda Fries and company. Wednesday, the Cornhuskers are back in action when they host Bruno Fernando and the Terrapins at 7. Then Ethan Happ leads the Badgers against Jordan Murphy and the Gophers at 9. A super Wednesday in the Big Ten indeed, presented by U.S. Cellular. Super Monday here on our end from inside the State Farm Center. Maryland, a very balanced attack tonight.
They have all of their starters and Breonna Frazier in double figures. But when you look at the balance, that's one thing. But look at where the shots are coming from. Take your pick. A lot in the paint, but we also saw the big three from the outside. They're finding the corner jump shot. They're using the floor, spacing the floor well, and taking advantage of every opportunity Illinois has allowed defensively.
Illinois' defense has been quietly solid against Maryland in the second half. They've held the Terps to just 24 points. And Maryland is now just shooting 7 of 22 from beyond the long line. Remember, they started 6 of 11, so they've gone just 1 for 11 recently from deep, and that's a big part of the reason why Illinois has been able to hang around here.
Good seal down low from Whittinger, working hard. Now remember, she had to picked up her 4th foul. Ooh, wow, I thought that was going in.
So did I. Rebound, Whittinger. And
Big
she
shot.
sticks the putback.
Big shot. Illinois is still hanging around. Like I said, had they not dug themselves that hole earlier in the after Whittinger picked up her 2nd foul, this might have been a different basketball game.
Into Frazier, fadeaway. Whittinger with the rebound. Rice into the corner. Ephraim has it. Whittinger blocked. That was Shakira Austin.
That was a big one for Shakira Austin. And again, one of the reasons that she's so good at that, it's not the one-on-one as she defends, it's the fact that she comes and helps side. She has an opportunity to read exactly where the opponent is headed to the basket. She's able to time it just right. She's gotten very, very good at being a help side blocker.
Randy Beasley jacks one up. Rebound yanked down by Kyla Charles. That's one thing we really haven't mentioned tonight. 2 of the best shot blockers in the Big Ten are on the floor. Alex Whittinger and Shakira Austin.
You got that right.
Here's Austin, who dips the shoulder and rolls that one in. Vera said very early in this game that Austin was looking like she could have a big night. She's got 17.
Well, they went to her early, helped establish her in the paint, gave her a little confidence, let her feel the rock.
Now it's Illinois who needs an answer to stem this mini Maryland run. 5 to shoot. Beasley, deep shot. Rebound out to Ephraim. Beasley got that one.
Even after losing control, good gather.
15 for Beasley. Beasley is averaging 15 points over her last 6 games now. Charles over Rice. Rebound down to Whittinger.
Good defense from Rice. Charles wants to beat you with that right hand going to the basket. She's usually pretty effective.
And a double-double now for Alex Whittinger, 15 and 10. Blazek off platform. Whittinger somehow got in there to try and keep it in Illinois hands. Out of bounds underneath, Maryland ball. Speaking of Whittinger, and we talked about this as well with Shakira Austin in the block department, basically averaging the same number of blocks per game. Of course, everyone is looking up at Ariana Harris, but 2 of the best defenders in the conference on the floor going at it tonight.
Yep. Both of those players are very well known for changing up the way defenses look just because they, the way offense gets to the basket just because they defend so well in the paint.
Lyric Robbins. Charles had it and is fouled, trying to keep it in play by Mackenzie Blazek. Final note about Whittinger in the blocks department. She's 17 away from the all-time record here at Illinois. She needs to average 2.2 blocks per game the rest of the way to lock that one up.
Did you do that math?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
That would be courtesy of Jenny Dewar in the Sports Information Department at Illinois. Yes.
Thanks, Jenny.
2 quick fouls on Mackenzie Blazek. Charisma Penn, remember that name?
I do.
Illinois' all-time blocks leader.
I sure do. She was a fierce blocker, too.
That's a travel. So another opportunity now for Illinois to make this a single-digit deficit.
And they come so close.
Yes.
They've continued to trap. Beasley's feeling it.
Sure is.
And I like her because she can create. She certainly is a great point guard when it comes to distribution. But she's got a lot of stuff she just doesn't show off. I kind of like to see her show off a little bit. She's offensively very, very astute. Oh, the little crossover, some shake and bake, some stop and pop. Literally left 2 Maryland defenders thinking about where to go on defense.
By the way, have you ever heard the Mo Bamba song played by a band? That's what's going on right now.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
New take on that.
Okay.
10-point lead for Maryland as Brenda Freese calls a timeout. I know you've been wanting to play the Name the Tune competition that they've had a couple of times tonight inside the arena. Well,
I actually started my career as a radio DJ, and I used to play the saxophone in the marching band and the jazz band. So I do have a music background.
One of my favorite things about you, Vera, you don't know this, is that you were named the top personality in the state of South Carolina in 1994.
You did your homework. And guess what?
That's a pretty cool award.
It was country radio.
Country radio, go figure.
Yeah.
So 94, what were you playing, like Willie Nelson or something?
It wasn't that long ago. Give me a break. We had, Garth Brooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tim McGraw. Okay.
Shania Twain.
There's a foul underneath that puts Brianna Frazier at the line. CeCe Rice, the guilty party. That's her second.
Brianna Frazier at the line for Maryland.
Frazier, one of the 5 scorers in double figures tonight for Maryland. She's shooting 63% at the line. 1 for 2 tonight, 1 for 3. The standings again in the Big Ten, and those gold lines are important.
So Northwestern and Minnesota could very much have changed places here in terms of what was expected. Rutgers was not expected to be on top, but the top 4 teams get that double bye in the tournament. In short, rather than winning 5 or 4 teams to get to games to get to a championship, you'd only have to win 3 if you do secure one of those top 4 spots. So there will be a very big race. I expect going at least 9 teams deep fighting for that 4th position.
And the middle portion of that sandwich are the teams that right now I'm most intrigued by, because those are the teams that are NCAA tournament quality, but they would be the bubble teams you would think.
Right. Well, I think this is definitely a conference that'll see 6 teams pretty easily. Whether you stretch it to that 7th might depend on just how things shape up right at the end and who else is on the bubble. But by far, this is a year that the Big Ten should see at least 6 teams in the tournament.
Kyla Charles, not enough touch. Rebound to Illinois. Here we go again. Another opportunity for the Illini to get this under 10. CeCe Rice takes care of that.
Determined to get to the basket now. Can Illinois continue to attack like this? Can they get a stop and then attack?
9-point game with about 90 seconds left.
The defensive stops have to be there.
Mike Sell is fouled by Beasley. Beasley's first. Mike Sell is, as expected, a pretty good free throw shooter, like she is from long range, 81% on the season.
So Nancy Faye wanted the foul, but she certainly didn't want it on Taylor Mikesell. So she's talking to Brandy Beasley, her point guard, about it. She stays in her point guard's ear.
Former point guard herself, a 2-year starter at Wisconsin.
She says Beasley is the kind of player that she's a student of the game. She wants to know. She wants to see, you know, film. She wants to, or watch videos. She wants to know exactly how she can improve. And it speaks volumes for, you know, why is she so effective as a point guard for this team. And the fact that she can create things like that.
Short a couple of times there, and the rebound skitters to Blair Watson.
And that was probably their best bet. Now they'll go for the fouls, but really needed to close the gap.
What's coming down the pipeline for Maryland on the verge of their 5th straight win and moving into a tie for first place in the Big Ten. Vera already told you to circle your calendars for February 10th. That's this Sunday when the Maryland-Rutgers rematch takes place.
But guess what? Before they even get there, they have to look at Northwestern, who's in that 4th spot. So that's not going to be an easy game necessarily either. It helps that they have Northwestern at home. But they've still got Nebraska. I wouldn't want that schedule whatsoever. Maryland is not going to be an easy task for them to get through the next run of games.
Rutgers is off, by the way. They're on their bye week this week, so they'll be well rested after that Minnesota loss to take on Maryland at the rack. If Maryland wins this one by double digits, it'll also be their 5th straight win by more than 10 points. No matter who you play, a double-digit win on the road is a stamp of quality, you might say. It stays with Maryland. 6 seconds on the shot clock.
So Brenda Free's pretty confident that she walks away with a win here, but by no means, especially when that run came, wasn't an easy one.
No. Maryland tested at times by this Illinois team.
From Illinois, number 31, Sarah Shewan.
Sarah Shewan picks up the personal foul, her 3rd. Kyla Charles is at the free throw line.
The line, shooting 2.
And for Illinois, they've had a tough schedule up until this point, and it certainly doesn't get any easier with a month of Big Ten play left. But with 2 games against Wisconsin, who knows, even Michigan coming in here, that could be a game that you would star as a possible upset chance for Illinois. And you'd love to see this Illinois team just have some wins at the end of the season to show for their effort.
Actually, I mean, I'm a big underdog person anyway, so I think they have what they need. They just have to pull it all together. You saw spurts of greatness, actually, in this game alone, so good job for both teams.
It's a 14-point win for Maryland. They put up 80 on Illinois. Brenda Freese with an appreciative handshake for Brandy Beasley, who had a good night tonight for Illinois, as did some of Beasley's teammates. Sarah Shewan with a career-high 5 3-pointers tonight. But ultimately not enough for Illinois as they slip to 9-13, 1-10 in the Big Ten. They've lost 8 in a row now. Maryland keeps right on rolling along. It's the Terps' 20th win of the season. They are 9-2 in conference play, and as we've told you a couple of times now, it's now Maryland and Rutgers at 9-2 in conference. And the tiebreaker of sorts coming your way on Sunday. We mentioned 5 scores in double figures for Maryland, and they got up to 6 by the time this game ended. Maryland can hurt you in a lot of ways. Shakira Austin in particular with a game-high 17 points. Got involved early and was able to stay out of foul trouble as well. She was on the floor for long stretches in this one. Taking on a really good post player in Illinois' Alex Whittinger. Austin got involved on the defensive end as well with a couple of blocks. And let's send it over to our very own Vera Jones, who's standing by with Maryland head coach Brenda Freese.
Congratulations, Coach. You move into a tie for first place, but it certainly wasn't an easy one right now. You established Shakira Austin early. Was that part of the game plan?
You know, Shakira was ready from the tip, and so when you see her play with that kind of energy, I thought it started with her defense, and which led to her offensively. So it separates us when she's playing both ends of the floor like that.
You always talk about, we always look and everyone likes the offensive running Maryland, but how much did defense play a factor, especially when Illinois started coming back in the game?
Yeah, I thought Illinois shot the ball extremely well tonight, and credit to them playing at home. It's always difficult on the road, but we talked about it at halftime that it was going to come down to our defense and our rebounding. I thought we grinded it out there in the second half.
Last question, Coach. How much more do you have to keep this team focused? Because now you are definitely the Hunted.
We know that every time we step out on the floor. So it's for us, there's so many areas for us to continue to improve on and just getting it better every single day.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck to you. Shakira, definitely a great game from you tonight. I was asking Coach about how important was it that she established you early. Is that good for you and your confidence?
Definitely. It instills confidence in me, like after jump. It gives me the motivation, to play hard defense, make shots for my teammates and find them in transition. It starts the game off for me.
I've been dying to ask you this. Where did the shot blocking ability come from?
Just me being athletic. My uncle plays overseas. He's a big shot blocker. So, I want to follow his role.
And then last but not least, you're a freshman in this league, and yet you've had to come in and step into the starting lineup and make an impact. What is it that you do, or what helps you to stay confident in that role?
My teammates really give me confidence even though I'm a freshman, they still install that I can be a leader, I can use my voice, and I know they have my back through it. So.
All right, well, good luck moving forward. You're the Hunted in first place. Back to you.
All right, Vera, thank you very much. And yes, when it comes to assessing